Over the past few years, it's becoming more common for us not only to have On-prem AD, but also to have Azure AD and Office 365. Administering all three of those has become a headache for everybody because they all use different administrative either websites or consoles, and it gets confusing as to what changes where and who needs to make what change and whatnot. With active roles, I can do all of those at once. So for example, if I click on this user here, I've customized the interface, and customize is a very loose term. I can do that in a few minutes, to show me all of their on-prem data along with their Azure AD data and their Office 365 data as well. So for example, I can click over here to the Office 365 license, and I can see that this particular user doesn't have a license assigned to them. I can assign a license. I can see what licenses are available for them, their usage location, which you'll be familiar with if you use Office 365 at all. I can also see their email settings in Office 365 right here. And in addition to that, I'm actually looking here at the data from their on-prem AD object, which using Azure AD Connect is being synchronized over into the cloud. All of this is together, and all of this is being maintained through active roles. And what's nice about this is I don't have to train the help desk on how to maintain something, part of the user here, part of the user there, part of the user somewhere else. By just doing some very basic customization in active roles, or we'll call it configuration really, then I can tell active roles, hey, this data exists on-prem, this data exists in Azure AD, this data exists in Office 365, show them all together, don't confuse anybody. Simple, straightforward, easy to manage. I can even tell active roles, for example, that I want to manage the licensing automatically. Here I have what we call a policy in active roles, and here I have a policy that issues this particular dev license. And I can apply that policy in any number of ways, and we won't get into that today, but I want to show you the policy itself. Here I can click on the Office 365 license selection, and this, by the way, is pulling from my Office 365 tenant, so everybody else's will look different than mine. And I can say, I want this Exchange Enterprise license to be applied to users who this policy applies to, and they can be applied to OUs or groups or what we call managed units in active roles, lots of different ways in order to make that apply. But it can be done automatically. It can be done when the account is created in AD, so you never even have to go back in later and set the license. Active roles will do that for you when the account is created.